work. Stay strong. Don't give up. Stay connected. How are you doing? It looks like you're connected. Okay. You guys mute yourself. Everybody, mute yourself. Oh, you know what? I can make you a co-host, so I'm gonna do that. Make co-host. Bam. Okay, so that should give you more control. Okay, good. Looks like we're live on there. And let me press the recording. Why do I still hear something? You guys all mute yourself. Mute. Okay. You all mute yourself. Thank you all for the patience. Okay, so now, what was I gonna do? Okay, good. All right, I think now, I was gonna press the record. That's what I was gonna do. Record. Okay, there we go. All right, so welcome everyone. Welcome officially to day 2 of our Power Author Week. I think that we got off to an amazing start. I am loving the fact that you all are taking action, that you're doing the homework, that you are participating in the group, because as I told you all yesterday, what you put into this is what you're going to get out of it. And so I want you to put aside any distractions that you have. This is not the time to multitask. This is not the time to scroll on Facebook and then also try to listen to this lesson. This is not the time to check your email and delete and try to get things cleared up in your inbox. This is not the time to respond to other messages or anything. This is the time that you have set aside for the production of your book. And if you can organize your mind and begin to clear your mind and focus your intentions on what it is that you're doing, you will find that your subconscious mind will begin to work for you and with you to help you achieve this project. If you're trying to multitask, do 15, 20 things at once and thinking you're being productive, you'll actually find that this project itself will fall to the wayside and it will suffer. It will suffer because you're trying to do 15, 20 different things. So put aside the distractions and focus in on what it is that we're doing right now. You know, the other day, I was thinking about the subconscious and I was thinking about this, you hear the law of attraction and you hear of synchronicities in the world and all of these types of things that come up. And I was talking to one of my girlfriends on the phone and she was talking about getting her, she wants to buy a new house and get some stuff or whatever. So we were talking about finances and things. And I mentioned to her one of the people that I just recently started following. And I said, yeah, she's this budget girl, I was telling her. And the next day she said, Z, you know what? Like you mentioned her on the phone and then ads for her started popping up in her ad feed, right? So we can talk about Big Brother and all of that, okay, something was listening to her and then it started to put ads up from what we were saying on the phone. So we could talk about invasion of privacy and all of that. But I related it for myself to the power of the subconscious. Like when you start to have messages and put things in your mind that this is what you want to achieve, that other things will start to pop up in your life that are going to assist you. So you can either make that work for you or you can make it work against you. So helping your mind to help you get this project done, one of the things that's going to help you is to keep the project in the forefront of your mind. Don't try to do all these different things. Like while we're hearing this lesson, you will miss some of the nuances of what I say if you are distracted trying to do 15 things. Now I'm busy, you're busy, we all are busy, but you're going to get a much better result for yourself if you focus. All right. So can we agree with that? Focus in, put aside any distractions. I want to go over some of the homework that you all put in yesterday because you all did an amazing job. I'm really, really, really proud of you. And I'm really proud of the group, as well. So we had about 70% of you all, 20 people turned in the homework. So the others who haven't, do it. Right. So we had about 70% of you all say that you want to gain credibility with your book. All right. 60% of you all also want to leave a legacy for your family, and about half of you all want to become an expert in your field. So we have a number of different reasons as to why you all are putting the effort into writing this book. A lot of you all want to share the legacies of parts of your culture with others. You want to be able to give back, right, to others in as much ways as you can, and also have a source of income. You want to share your life story, right, and create dialogues about those things that have happened in your life and share those stories outwards to create dialogue for others, right? You want to see your name in print. I love that, right? Like, hey, it's like my stamp. You remember when you were little? I don't know if you guys did it, but we used to carve our name into the sides of trees and stuff like that. Like Zarina was here. You know, you make your mark. And so you all want to see your name in print. Passive sources, income. Some of you all want to write several different books and book series, right? And that's right. This doesn't have to be your only book. What you learn here, you're going to be able to apply for however many other books you also want to do. Some of you all just love writing and you have been writing, but kind of lost some confidence. I see a lot of loss of confidence. Now, let's look at what's been holding you back so far. What's been holding you back so far? It's emotional. You know, is anyone else interested in the information? Fear of failure, self-doubt, ability to do it. Maybe others won't be interested. So while I'm going through these, I want you to kind of see similarities. I want you to see yourself, right? When you are hearing me share what other people are saying, you're going to have a better understanding, one, of how everyone views this, but you also may see yourself in different ways. All right. So doubting that I could become an author. Time priority, fear of judgment, fear of unknown, fear of failure. So someone lost their book. They wrote a book before and then the whole thing got wiped out. So, you know, you kind of feel deflated at that point. Not knowing what to write about, the general insecurity about the relevance or importance of my message, worrying about not saying everything that needs to be said, thus wasting time with writing the book. Fear of being rejected, right? So as it could actually affect their livelihood. So that's a fear. People feel like if I put this out there, am I going to be able to eat? You know, am I going to still be able to pay my rent? Is that going to affect my bottom line? Fear of not knowing what to write about, fear of failure, that the book may not be well received, being a procrastinator, somebody who pushes things off. Need time to get inner healing credentials and court documents to prove the accuracy of the story. Okay, that one we'll probably talk about a little bit later because I may like push back on you on that. Fear of judgment, clarifying what I need, what I'm leading people into. Fear of life, choosing the topic, time, fear of failure. So can you see similarities? So if you have had, you know, one of these fears and kind of feel like you're all alone, like you're the only one that has that fear, like, why can't I get it together? I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Like, why can't I do it? And you kind of put yourself down a little bit or have some type of feelings of shame or like, woe me, you know, type of thing. You're not alone. Everybody else also has some type of fear when it comes to pushing out their book, okay? So it's not a problem to have a fear. The problem is when you allow that fear to stop you, okay? So now let's talk a little bit quickly about how you all are feeling with starting the project. So some said, because of the quarantine, I cannot use the excuse of not having time, right? So this is the time. It was a gift.
Zarina, can you put yourself on the screen?
Oh, okay. Yes. Dun, 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 dun. You guys don't see me? What do you see?
No. We see you on the side, but the main screen is your Facebook tab that you're in.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Let's see. So I'll stop this. Why does it always show the Facebook tab anyway? That's not what I want to see. Like, who wants to see that at all? Nobody. It was supposed to be showing you all my slides. But okay. So now can you see me? Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Okay, so Thanks, Lena. Okay, so where was I? I was at the how are you feeling now about starting your project, right? So said today was a good day. I feel hopeful that my dream is achievable. I'm nervous, I'm solid about it being the right and best thing, but I'm nervous. I'm afraid, feeling that the book needs to get done. I'm feeling good and expecting success. I like that. Expect success. I really want to do this. It keeps me up at night with trying to find a way to be able to find a way to make this come true. Money is a problem for me right now, though. Okay, I'm terrified, but in the best way. During the first class, my mind was on full speed and the concept of my book seemed to become more solid. I was never able to put to words exactly what I wanted to write about or how to frame it, but it's getting clearer now. The clearer my concept got, the more I realized how big and powerful of a book it could actually be. And I felt the buzzing in my soul, and I haven't felt about this book before. I'm excited. Oh, I love that. A little better. I'm feeling a little bit nervous because I do not know what to expect. Excited and nervous. Will I be able to complete the project? More inspired, very encouraged, apprehensive. Challenge came around at the right time, calm, ready to dig in, good, feel great, anxious, excited, a little nervous. I feel excited, but a bit nervous. Can you guys see similarities here, right? All right, good. And then you all wrote your own personal prayer. So your prayer is for you. I want you to read that prayer. I think one good thing for you all each day is to read your prayer to yourself, right? Read your prayer to yourself, to remind yourself, and also to begin to pull in the angels of support from outside, to begin to allow your subconscious to begin to work for you, right? You have to keep this in the forefront of your mind, because life will try to pull you back into all of the other many things that it wants you to do. So if you're going to make this be successful for you, you have to make the book be a priority. And not only for yourself, you also have to make it the priority known to those around you. So when they say, hey, do you want to do X, Y, and Z? You know what? Not right now. I'm working on my book, right? Not right now. I'll come to that in a few months or 6 months from now. But right now, my extra energy, even redirected energy, is going towards this book project. It needs to be that serious for you. Don't psych yourself up and think that you can just say you want to do it and not make it a priority and it will happen. It won't. It won't. There are so many people who pass. They have done studies of folks in hospice, right, who are at their deathbed. They're about to end this part of their life, and many of them regret having not written that book that they thought about. You have the opportunity right now to bring your book to life. You get to do something that those people who are on their deathbed in the last, bit of their life cannot do. So it's incumbent upon you and I to take advantage of the opportunities that we have right now. And it can only happen if you make it a priority, right? If you make it a priority. All right. So today is, let's see. Today is day 2. Let's just make sure that everybody is in the room. There are no people in the waiting room. Okay, good. I think we're good. I think there's nobody in the waiting room. We should actually be good to go. All right, so Southgate, Michigan, Toronto, Redford, Maryland, Iowa, California. And the rest of you guys, type where you're joining us from. Now, what I want to say real quick before we jump into today's topic is that I asked you to type in where you're joining us from, because as you can kind of see, I'm a metaphysical type of person, right? And so I believe that we are connecting energetically. And so when you see that someone is from Maryland, someone is from California, someone is from Michigan, Massachusetts, Sugar Land, Colorado, New Jersey, I want you to imagine that there is a line going from you to them in Grass Lake, Michigan. I want you to imagine that there is a line going from Grass Lake, Michigan over to Colorado, so that we can create like our own little cocoon, if you will, of support, our own little cocoon of positivity and love and connection, right? And so that when you may feel low, I want you to remember that there's somebody else that's out there on the same path, doing the same types of things that you want to do, and they're sending energy your way, right? They're sending positive energy your way. So we're going to continue to grow as a family, as a community of people who are change agents and folks who want to see our society evolve in positive ways. And that requires us to energetically connect and feed each other, right? Energetic connect and feed each other. All right, Ann Arbor, good. Landover, okay, good. All right, so let's jump right into day number 2. Day number 2, which is all about the makings of a bestseller, right? All about the makings of a bestseller, but really it is about your topic. It is about what you're going to be writing about. Now, I know from doing this for however many years that a lot of people have many topics that they have been thinking about. And some of you all may have a topic in mind, but it actually may not be the right topic. It may not be the actual right topic that you should be writing about, okay? So today I want to kind of go over a few things, 7 in particular, that are going to help you begin to conceivably narrow down your plethitude of ideas and begin to decide on which topic is going to be the best topic for you for this book. Remember, you can always do book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5. So having the knowledge that you can do more books should free you up a little bit, that you don't have to feel like this has to be the only thing that you ever do, okay? So free yourself up from that feeling of like, this is the only thing I'm ever gonna do and it's gonna define me for the rest of my life. No, this is the book that you're doing right now. You're more than welcome to do another book, later, right? Down the line. Remember, my first book was on singlehood and the search for love. That was my first book. I don't do relationship workshops or anything now. So that book served its purpose. I could go back and pull it off of the shelf if I wanted to, but I'm not suffering because my book was on a subject that I don't currently work in right now, okay? Actually, the book built the platform that I'm using right now. All right, so the first thing that you want to consider when you're looking at the topic that you're going to write about, again, is what we started with yesterday, right? Are you writing for business purposes? Are you writing for legacy purposes, right? So are you writing a business book? Are you writing for legacy? If you're writing a business book, a book that needs to bring revenue to you, build your business that you're working on, then your book naturally needs to be directly related to that subject, that the industry in which you're in, right? It makes sense, right? So if I am looking to build up a training business for landscapers, let's say I've been running a landscaping business for 20 years, I've been out there cutting people's grass. Now I don't want to cut grass anymore. I want to train other people in how to start their own landscaping business. And so I'm going to write a book about how to start your own landscaping business, right? So I'm utilizing my experience, my 20 years in the trenches. I'm utilizing that and I'm sharing that with other people to effectively be able to get clients around that realm, okay? So if I wrote a book about how to bake the best pound cake, that could be really great. I could make the best pound cake ever, but that book is not going to build this business that I want to start around training other people in how to start their own landscaping business. You see what I mean? So your book topic, if you're writing for business, it needs to be related to your industry. It needs to be related to your clients, right? And so tomorrow we're going to talk about clients, audience. We're going to talk about like the people that you're actually writing for, but you need to understand at this juncture that you cannot pick a topic that doesn't help you serve your ultimate goals. Remember, we talked about goals and the vision of what you're seeing, right? Your topic should be related right now to your ultimate goals. So if you're writing for business, make sure that your book topic that you select is related to the business that you want to grow, right? Related to the business that you want to grow. Now, for those who are writing something around legacy, right? Who are writing something around legacy. This means that I could be writing a story that is from a part of my life. It can be an experience that I have gone through. It can be some knowledge that I have gained, right? I'm writing something from a part of my life. And I'm writing that book to share what I know out there into the world. So case in point, like earlier today, I was talking to one of my private clients who wrote a memoir. It's actually a memoir / textbook kind of book because it kind of flops between his story and then also like religious text. It kind of goes back and forth. So he wrote that book and he's retired, right? And so he made it very clear from the beginning, look, I'm not interested in going out there and being a paid speaker. I'm trying to live a quiet life. I don't want to go out there and do lots of speaking engagements. That's not what I want to do. I'm putting this book out because I feel like it is being called for me to put out what I have learned, in life, right? And so right now, what he has decided to do is, one, we just finished translating his book into Urdu. So it was in English. Now we've translated the book into Urdu. And then now he wants to start a scholarship fund centered around the subject that he writes about. I guess it's called Muslim in Transit, the book, right? So he wants to start a scholarship fund where he's going to have people read the book and then they can send in a video about like what they're getting, and then they can be entered into the scholarship contest. So clearly, like, his book is about building a movement, about an idea that's going forward, but it's not about building a business. Can you see the differences here? So for his book, he's not interested in getting clients, and that's why he could write the book about, the thing that was on his heart, the thing that he really just wanted to get out there. Okay, so this is why your topic needs to relate to your goals. Your topic needs to relate to your goals. So I want to pause for 1 second and just make sure that that part is clear. Because if you're not clear there, you don't have to know it exactly right now, but I just want you to understand that your topic needs to be related to your ultimate goals. So type into the chat box if you got it. Like, just say, got it. I'm good. So Monica Badi, are the two mutually exclusive? Because when it comes to coaching, we tend to combine our personal experience and the how-to. Okay, so no, the two are not necessarily mutually exclusive. However, it can kind of go one way, meaning that if your ultimate goal is to build your business, right, then you need to make sure that whatever it is that you're talking about is still going to build that business. Right? It can be for legacy, right? Like, all of our books are really going to still be part of our legacy. Let's just be real. All of them, no matter what you're writing about, is still going to be a part of your legacy, right? But if you're building for business and that's a part of your goal, we have to reverse engineer your book to make sure it's going to be able to achieve that goal. If your sole purpose is only legacy and not business at all, then in that case, we don't have to be like, we don't have to only worry about, okay, like, am I going to be able to make money off of this, right? Can you see like kind of the difference? So they don't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive, but if your goal is business and your goal is to bring in clients, then we definitely need to make sure that that part is going to be achieved. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Yes. Okay, good, good, good. All right. So that's the first thing, right? So you're writing for business, you're writing for legacy. We have our goals in mind, and then we're going to go into the topics of what it is that we're going to write about. Now, when we're talking about topics, there are different things even within business. Let me take business first, for example. So when we're talking about a topic, right, and you're thinking about your clients or such, you have clients, you have people that are asking certain questions of you, right? They're asking certain questions of you. So let me have you all, those of you who are thinking about writing for business, go ahead and type into the chat box what your industry in and what you're thinking about writing about, right? And then that way I can, I'm going to pull some of you all and use you as examples. So I don't just pull other examples out of the air. I'll use some of you all as examples. So when you're thinking about like your your clients? You know, what problems do your clients come to you the most to get help with, right? Like that could be a topic that you may want to address. What are the problems that your clients are coming to you the most? What things do you see are issues that you know you can address, right? Like, you know, you have something, like, for example, sometimes you'll read an article about somebody and you'll know, like, dang, I have an answer for that. Like, I could really help them. What are those types of things that come up for you, right? What are some of the other problems in your industry? So maybe your clients haven't necessarily said it to you yet, but you can kind of see that the trend is going down this direction, right? And so, for example, right now in the internet marketing world, right, you have people who were doing live events, right? They're doing big live events, public events, and they all had to cancel their events. So everybody who was doing those big public events then tried to move their events to virtual events. So if I write a book on how to create an effective virtual event, right? Like, that's addressing an issue that is happening in the society right now, right? So your clients may not have come to you before because they were already doing it, but now with the situation of what's happening, there are some new needs that are coming up. So you can think about the needs of your client. And the way that I like to think of this is, I call it like the aspirin method. So it's the aspirin method. That is that my clients have a headache, right? My clients have a headache. And my book needs to address their headache. So my book needs to be the aspirin for their headache. So if you can be very clear about the headache of your client, the headache of your audience, and remember, tomorrow we're going to talk about how to specifically focus in on your audience. If you can be very clear about the headache that they have and know that very intimately, then your book, right, the topic that you select is going to resonate with that audience, and it's going to make your book end up being a much stronger book. And hence why we call this the makings of a bestseller, right? So your book is related to the headache of your client, of your audience. Is that making sense? Okay. Jessica, that making sense? Okay. All right, good. Okay. So, in thinking about the problems that your clients come to you with, the problems that they have, right? Now, another way for you to just conceivably think about this is like, you know, you have a skill, you have an experience, you have some type of knowledge, right? You have a skill, you have an experience, you have some type of knowledge. A skill, something that you do very well. An experience, something that has happened to you in the past. Some knowledge, something that you know about very well, right? So those three areas are definitely areas in which that you're going to be able to pull from and find different topics that you can write about, right? But again, as we go into, we're going to start talking about like how to weigh those different topics, right? But in the beginning, I don't even want you to weigh them yet. I just want you to come up with a list. That's what we're going to do next. Come up with a list of the possibilities. And so now when I'm sharing out these different things that you can think about, I want you to just kind of think about, oh, okay, that's a possibility. Stay in the realm of possibility at this moment. Don't stay in the realm of, oh, I don't know about that, or I don't know about that, or I don't know about that. Like, come to that later. Right now, just stay in a sense of possibility. What could I write about? What problem could I solve? What is the headache of one group that I really want to be able to help? You know, what experience did I have that really gave me a big aha that I think could help other people, right? What is a skill that I know that if I teach this, it can be able to serve other folks, okay? All right, so now, for those of you who are kind of like, well, I'm not really sure, you know, another way for you to think about what you may want to write about is to survey your crowd, like ask other people, hey, what do you think, if I were to write a book, what do you think it would be about? So you can get interesting answers when you survey your crowd. And when I say your crowd, you're going to have like, you know, family members that you survey that may give you one type of answer. And then you may have like your business associates or your clients that may give you another type of answer. And then like friends or such, or just people who kind of know you on the periphery, they give you an entirely different type of answer, right? So when you're in the realm of possibility and just kind of trying to see what it is that you may want to write about, surveying your crowd is a wonderful way for you to get some interesting ideas. And it serves two purposes for you. It gives you those interesting ideas. And then the second thing is that it lets your crowd know that, hey, I'm going to be embarking on a new project. I'm going to be embarking on a new project. And what we call this is like seeding. It means that you're planting little tiny seeds within your network, right? The network that you control. You're planting little tiny seeds that are going to grow up and eventually become your book. And when the time that you come and you're into the realm of launching, people are ready, right? Like you're warming them up. So everything that when I give you some homework, when I tell you to post about this or survey these people or whatever, like that is for you, but it's also planting a seed so that you are warming up your audience so that eventually when we get to the launching of your book, the book is done, right? Then you are not launching to a cold audience, right? You're launching to a group that's like, oh yeah, I've been following that project that he's been working on, you know? Like I remember when he talked about that book and he put up some different titles and such and had me kind of weigh in, you know what I mean? So you're bringing people into the process with you, okay? So anytime that you have some questions, poll your audience, like survey your crowd. It doesn't make you look weak. It doesn't make you look like you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't make you look like, oh, well, how are they going to even get a book? They don't even know what they really want to write about. You know, none of that actually diminishes your status or credibility at that time. And actually, it's the opposite. It actually signals again to people that you are going to begin working on this type of project. And that is something that you're looking to do. Okay, so great. All right, so we're talking about asking questions of people, right? Asking other folks, what are some things that you think you would want to know from me? Now, some other ways that we come up with different topics are the opposite way. So you can talk about like things that you have a skill, knowledge, expertise about, right? And then the other side is something that you're super passionate about, but in a negative way. Like you're super passionate about this, but in a negative way. What I mean by this is that like if you're watching the news or you are looking at something that's happening and you hate it, like you detest it, I can't stand that thing, right? Like I always see this, I hate it. Then that is a topic that you may have a strong enough sense of energy for that it's warranted for you to write a book about that, right? Can you see what I'm saying? So say, for example, you are a mother and you hate the way that your children don't have enough free time in the classroom or something, right? Like you just absolutely hate that. Like you've seen it for your kids, like when they don't move around enough, it stifles their learning and they aren't really functioning in their classes. You know, you just have seen this, right? And you hate it. It's like something you talk to your girlfriends about, you talk to your husband about it, like you hate it. So you decide that, okay, I'm going to write a book about that. Now, you don't have to be an expert right up front. So you don't have to know everything about that subject yet, right? But you're going to do some research on it, maybe interview some folks, clear out some other articles and such, and then you're going to put your stamp on what it is that you're writing about. So what I'm saying is that your book can be on a passionate topic that you have, right? And it can also be on something that you absolutely like hate, detest. And that will also drive forward. And it still works for business as well. So you can say, you know, you can have a book of 30 mistakes I see, 31, let's say 31 mistakes I see every nonprofit leader making, right? 31 mistakes I see every nonprofit leader making. So I'm in the nonprofit field, maybe I run a nonprofit, right? And these are mistakes that I've been seeing around. And so I'm going to write a book about that. It's not 31 tips, right? It's 31 mistakes. So you're coming at it from the other angle, okay? So you can take this and apply it to the types of things that you want to write about. So I'm going to pause here and let's get some feedback from you all to see kind of what's coming up from you. It makes you compassionately angry. Let's see what's coming up for you all and how you think that this can relate to what it is that you are, your possibilities. All right, so let's see. Do like this, and that way I can know, and then I'll unmute you. So if you want to, okay, good. So Eddie, I'm going to go to you. No, that's Michael. Michael. Okay. Okay, there we go.
Hello.
Hey.
I missed last week, so you may have answered this already. But I have actually two kind of questions. One is in relation to what you were saying, not really a question, but I just tried to write a paper about evangelism for school, and I couldn't. I mean, I turned in a crappy paper because I really didn't care about evangelism. Could you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Oh,
good.
okay. I didn't care about it at all, and the whole subject just made me want to explode. Now that you're talking, I'm like, I hate evangelism
Mm-mm.
with a passion. Okay, I could put that. I could write that down. So the question is a reference to something you had just said, which was one of the things that I find. I don't really feel like I have a group. I feel like a struggle I have is getting people to respond to me. So I'll have people seem like they listen, but there's no interaction. And it's been a frustration for years how to get that interaction without appearing needy. Like, please talk to me, So do you have any tips on how to do that in order to get to the place where people are actually responding to your query of ideas? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So what you're talking about is like relating to your audience and engagement with your audience. And we're actually going to talk about that tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're actually going to be talking about your audience and then ways that you can engage with your audience and some things that you can do that will help you create connection. As an author, you are becoming a messenger for what it is that you're putting out there into the world, right? And a messenger needs people that read and interact with the message, right? And so that is definitely an important part of this book process, is making sure that you know who your audience is very intimately, right? Know who your audience is, and that you are utilizing the language, the examples, the graphics, and things that relate to that audience so that they are actually going to be, they feel that it is a part of them. It is a natural for them. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow because it's definitely an important part of what it is that you're doing. So if you can hold off for me tomorrow, we'll get, okay, good. All right, so who else wants to share something that's coming up for you right now around this? Raise your hand. And let me make sure I can see everybody on the screen. I think so. Okay, Lena.
Okay, so I came into this thinking that I had like two solid book ideas, but then the more you talk, the more ideas I come up with. So like my main thing right now is like fashion design, but the book I wanted to write, I initially thought it was going to be like a how-to book in like, it might have had to be split into like several different areas, but then after the first class yesterday, I realized that all these different subjects and experiences that I wanted to talk about pretty much were going to become like a memoir of some sorts. So that's like and it's going to relate to like being like a queer Arab and stuff like that, and like my kind of perspective in that area. And it's going to like touch on like feminism and sexuality and just like pretty much like my experiences as like who I am. So that's like one idea. But then what you just said about like things that like you despise and you hate, and then you were talking about school. So I put in the chat, the title would be, for me, The Shortcomings of the American School System as Seen by a Detroit Art Teacher. Like I literally rant to everyone who will like listen to me, because I used to substitute teach right after I got out of school, and I was like doing my like rounds and stuff. So I've been in like, I think like hundreds of schools. Like I can't even remember like all the schools that I've been into, and like these kids are like not learning anything. And it's like really bad. And I think I could rant about it forever. So that's like one that I didn't even consider writing, and like I never thought that I was like qualified to write, but like after yesterday and everything, I'm just kind of like, who better qualified than like someone who's like been on the ground and like seen how bad it is in like a multitude of, and like also talking about like discrimination and like, you know, because our schools are still like segregated for sure. Like I'd go to like a school in Allen Park and be looking around like, wow, like these kids have socks and shit, and then like, excuse my language, and then you go over to like, it's just so bad. And like I feel like our school system pretty much reflects American society. So I think like I
So,
would
so
that,
like when we're thinking about like these types of different, so we have two totally different types of topics here, right? We have
right.
this topic around around the school system, and then we have this topic around your life. Now, when we think about a book, right, and we think about like, think of a book like as a baby. You should really think of it like this. Like a book is a baby, and when the baby is born, like you have to birth it and feed it and pat it on the back to burp it and all this kind of stuff. Like it requires your energy to make it grow. Okay. So your book like is going to have a life really for like the first 2 years. You should be focused on promoting that book. And so if you think about, okay, what do I want to do?
Can I cut you off real quick though? Can I cut you off real quick though? The book that I just mentioned about the school system, I think I would probably do the memoir first. I think from where you're going with this, like, because I don't see myself putting that much energy into something like that. But it was like an idea that I think I would be really passionate about.
Yeah,
it couldn't be my baby, I don't think. You know, it might
I got you. So let me finish this thought for other folks though. So what I mean by that is that so that when you have this book, right, that is your baby for like the next 2 years or so, this is one of the things that's just going to help you narrow down the topics of which one you may want to focus on right now. If you think about that, you're going to be out there promoting this book, you're going to be speaking about this book, you're going to be sharing about this book, you're going to be posting about the ideas that you're thinking of and such, right? And so if you can't see yourself talking about that subject at that depth for the next couple of years or so, then it's probably not going to be the right topic for you for right now, right? And so for this book, and again, doesn't mean that this is going to be the only book that you ever write. This is the book for this particular moment. So you want to make sure that it is something that you love on and that you're comfortable with sharing out for the next few years or so at least. And now, like Brian Tracy, I was watching him the other day. He was saying he puts out like 4 to 5 books a year. He said, I publish about 4 to 5 books a year. That's crazy. You know, he has ghostwriters. Like we do ghostwriting services, and like there's no way that he's in depth. He has to have some ghostwriters that are working on those books for him. But what that means is that that's a part of his brand, that he's pumping out books like that, right? And so he's promoting a number of books at the same time. For the majority of us, like your book is going to be your client generator. It's going to be that thing that you're pushing out there for about 2 years or so. And if you milk that, you can milk that thing, milk it, and pump new life into it and such, so that it continues to feed you. It's an asset going forward. All right, so let's get one more person, and then we're going to have an exercise that you're going to do. So who else wants to share something that's coming up for you right now around topics?
I will.
Okay, so Nyla,
Someone else can go if they want to. I spoke yesterday.
I don't think I saw.
Can I speak?
Oh, yeah.
Who is that? Oh, cool.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Hi, coming around concerning topics, what has come up for me is that I call myself a cultural entrepreneur, like you mentioned the other day. And I wanted to share my information and experiences traveling to Africa and dealing with African culture.
Okay.
And so the topic that I've come up with is that I would have a broad series of African cultural art series. And then under that, the making of a king, God caskets, speaking into darkness. And then my third would be waist bead tradition, where women wear waist beads, even children, the waist bead tradition of West Africa. So that's what has kind of cleared up for me.
So a series of books all centered around the topic
Yes.
of African traditions and culture. And
Yes.
then each one, each one is kind of taking a different spin. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
series
you.
also, let me just say something real quickly about that. So series allow you to take a bigger subject, right? And then make multiple books, but then have them all kind of tied together so that you are creating your platform and you're building off of your platform, you're adding on to what you have already created and you're being able to add on to that. And so when you do that, it kind of strings your people along. So like if they like the first book, then chances are they're going to buy the second book, right? Because that first book was there and then they're going to buy the second one. So I love when we have series, especially now as well, when some people prefer to have a shorter type of book, right? So you can have a big topic and then you can have shorter books within that series. So awesome. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take the next 5 minutes and I want you to do a brain dump. When I say brain dump, it's like brainstorm, but I want you to kind of like just shake up your head. Imagine that you're getting a suitcase or an old bag and you're looking for something. You just want to dump it all out on the table. So you're not second guessing yourself. You're not saying, what about this? Like none of that. You're literally just getting it out and getting it down onto the paper. So I want you right now, everybody has their paper, right? You have paper and pen? Okay, good. Good. Okay, good. So I want you to, for the next 5 minutes, just do a brain dump of all the topics that you could possibly write about, okay? Don't judge yourself, just get it down and get it onto the paper. All right, go. We got about 1 more minute. Like squeeze. Think of any other thing you possibly could write about. Squeeze. Okay, it looks like we're good. All right. So how many people have more than 2 things on their list? How many people have more than 5? How many people have more than 10? 15? 20? 25? All right. So some of you guys, Martine and Lena, have about like 20 things. Nyla's up there about 15. Okay. So I'm going to add something else to the wrench here. Let's talk a little bit about like, okay, we already know that one of the things that we're going to do when we're trying to think about like what topic we're going to talk about is, you know, if I'm going for business, if I'm going for legacy, right? We're clear on that already. Now, we talked about like your passion. So when you're coming to this list today, you're going to be going over this list and your homework is going to be to kind of narrow this down. Okay. But I want you to do it kind of in a specific way. So anything's on your list that don't excite you, then it gets a cross through. Like if it doesn't excite you and you're not like, oh man, not that, oh, this could be good for somebody else. Like there's a difference here. Some people will pick a topic that they know is interesting for other people because it is useful for society, right? But it may not be something that they actually really want to like nurture or be around for a little bit of time. Like there is a sense of martyrdom sometimes that comes with us who are like givers out into the world. Like we'll do things because we know it's good for a society or good for other people, but we don't really fully have 100% passion for it, right? And so I want you at this juncture to recognize that you get to choose what you're going to write about. You get to choose how this baby, it's the first time in your life, you get to choose what you want your baby to look like, right? You get to choose. So if it doesn't excite you in any way, then just cross it out. You don't have to do that. This is the time in your life where you get to decide that you're going to bring things of joy. You're going to bring things of excitement. You're going to bring things of passion, like that you feel good about into your space. So if it doesn't excite you, cross it out. If you come to it and there's like a lot of apprehension around it, like you're just not sure about it, you know, like you're just not, then just cross that out. Like cross it out, right? Cross it out. Like in the early stage, cross it out. If it doesn't truly interest you, cross it out, okay? If it doesn't truly interest you, then you're going to cross it out. All right. Now, so from there, you know, you're going to have a short list now. You're going to have a short list of things that you're excited about. You're going to have a short list of topics that are related to your ultimate goal, right? Because if it wasn't related to your ultimate goal, we're going to cross that out for now. It doesn't mean you won't write that book 5 or 10 years from now, but it's not going to be the book that you're writing right now, right? We're going to cross that out. And you're going to have this short list of things that are like really kind of looking good, okay? All right. So from there, I want you to wait a little bit. I want you to wait like a few hours or so, kind of let it settle, you know, down. Let it settle down for a little bit. And then I want you to take each topic And I want you just to kind of like marinate on it. Some people like to, I'll say, like put it on a separate sheet of paper and just have that topic on the paper outside of anything else. So nothing else is distracting it, right? It's just its own thing. You can look at it and see how it is just standing alone, and then kind of get your reaction to it, right? Like, what is my reaction to it? Kind of sit with it, kind of put it into that vision that we talked about yesterday, right? Like your vision of how you see yourself 2 years, 3 years from now. Put that topic into that vision and sit with it and see, how do you really truly feel? And if you don't feel good, if you can't see yourself really talking about that in front of an audience or in front of a group, if you can't see yourself wanting to go onto a podcast to talk about that subject, you know, then that may not be the right topic for you right now, right? Okay. Now, again, this is different than if you're only writing a legacy book that you plan on putting on the shelf. If you're writing a book that you just want to put on the shelf and it's for your grandkids to read later on or whatever, then it doesn't really matter what topic that you're thinking about, because you're just going to write what you feel, and it doesn't necessarily have to resonate with your audience or any of that. You're just writing it just to get it out there, right? But you already know that if you're doing that, right, then that is not going to lead to other business type of goals or, you know, changing society's minds and things of that nature, right? So we're really clear on standing in our truth, and we're really clear on standing in our truth and what our true goals are. All right, so I see Zuberi has a question. So let me see, Zuberi. Oh, I keep doing that. Let's see, Zuberi. Oh, there we go. So do you have a question, Zuberi? Oh, no, she said no. Okay, I see you had your hand raised. All right, so we're good. Okay, so now, is that clear? Everybody clear on that? If it's clear, type in clear. Is everybody clear on that? Okay, good. Good. All right, good. Okay, so now the next thing I want to cover today, and this is going to also help you think about like the framing of your book, is the different types of books. You guys know that there are different types of books, right? So we kind of talked about yesterday that a book can be different lengths, right? But there are also different types of books. And what I'm gearing this particular portion on are nonfiction books. So I'm not talking about like Harry Potter, right? I'm not talking about that type of book. I'm talking about nonfiction books. And even within the realm of nonfiction, I know some of you all mentioned that you want to write, you know, children's books and such. But even in the realm of nonfiction, there are different types of nonfiction books, right? All right, so let's take memoir, for example. So memoir is like a historical account of a part of your life, right? It's your life, it's your memoir, right? Now, a memoir is not something that has to necessarily be in chronological order, meaning the memoir doesn't have to be your entire life. I was born in 1954 and, you know, up until now. It doesn't have to be your entire life. A memoir can be a portion of your life that is significant, an experience that you have that you want to share, right? If you think about Eat, Pray, Love, which was a very popular memoir, she talked about her experience with after divorce and moving and going to kind of refine herself, right? That was the memoir that she wrote. It shared some backstory, but it wasn't all about her childhood, right? It wasn't all about her career. It was about that portion of her life. So what a lot of people get hung up on when they want to talk about their life, they start thinking that they have to include every single thing that happened to them ever in their life. And you don't, right? You don't. You're choosing a portion of your life that is most significant to the theme or to the point, to the takeaway message of what it is that you want to share. Okay? All right, so that's a memoir. Now, an autobiography is like a memoir, but an autobiography is like zooming in on your life, and it can include, you know, kind of A to Z. It can be A to Z. Like, you know, this is my childhood. This was my formative years. This was my educational, blah, 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 blah. It can be like A to Z, right? Kind of including your full life there. Even still, your autobiography, and we're going to talk about this, I think, on day 4, your autobiography still has to have a purpose. Because, like, you know, it still has to have a purpose to it. So if that's what you're thinking about writing, and you think I'm just going to put my whole life into this and somebody's going to be interested in reading it, like, you're still going to have to relate it to the audience and what they want. So it still has to have a purpose. Okay. We aren't like, you know, just a big name person, like an autobiography of Michael Jackson. Like, everybody in the world knows Michael Jackson, right? I would kind of want to know more about his life or whatever. We pretty much grew up with him, so you know him. But you get the point, right? So those types of people can write an autobiography where somebody's just going to want to pick it up just by virtue of their name. But for us, we have to have a purpose to our book. We have to have a bigger theme, a takeaway message, okay? So that's autobiography. Now, a how-to book. So a how-to book, how to publish a book, how to start a garden, how to produce a live event, how to create a strong community, how to start a business, how to do a profitable watercolor business or whatever, right? How to. So you're giving the individual a process, a step on how to achieve whatever it is that you're saying you're going to teach them, right? You're teaching them something, you're walking them through a process. This is absolutely great for those of you who do work with clients and you want to warm them up and kind of give them some insights into what it is that you do in your business. Like, you're going to teach them how to, and they can get that introductory level book. And when they want to get more, right, then they come to you for the additional work. Okay. Similar to my, like, I'm very transparent, right? So similar to my new book that's coming out, which is on how to publish a book, a power book, which is a book that builds your business, builds your legacy, and helps humanity, right? So my book is my process. It's the exact same process that I use in our Power Author Academy. It's the exact same process that I use with my private clients, right? It's the exact same process that they get to have a bird's eye view into, right? Or really like not bird's eye, because they're not coming down. They're not looking from a big view. Like, they're like a zoomed in view of this process, right? And some people can take my book and work on it, and they're going to get what they need, right? And they're going to go. And then other people want support, so they're going to come into our Power Author Academy. And other people are going to say, you know what, Zarina, like, I see what I'm supposed to do, but I don't feel like doing it. I just want to pay your team to do it. And that's perfectly fine, right? That's why we have our company. So you're going to have people that come and approach your book at different levels, but your how-to is explaining a process to them, all right? Okay. Now, self-help books, right? So self-help books are similar to how to, but it's centered around like a person, right? It's centered around a person's spirit, a person's improvement, a person's, evolution, right? So it can be, even within business or other subjects, it still is centered around like helping you develop yourself as an individual, helping you learn something that's going to develop you, right? Okay, you guys still good? You good with me? Okay, good. All right, good. And those of you who do the homework, I'll send you all a list of these. So if you do your homework, I'll send you a list. So then you can get more information on it. All right, so now let's talk about like parables. So we know parables. Any of you all read like The Richest Man in Babylon? Like, this was a book. So it's a parable. It's a story that is teaching you about finances. It's kind of teaching you his process on money, but it's told in a parable form. It's told in a story form, right? So this is a parable type of book. Same bigger picture of finance and business, but it's told in a parable form. All right. Let me see. Now, the next one is like an anthology. So everybody knows Chicken Soup for the Soul, right? Chicken Soup for the Soul. Chicken Soup for the Soul is like a self-help book. make me feel good, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't write that book all himself, right? So what he did was put out a call for submissions. You can actually still, I think, submit to Chicken Soup for the Soul right now, like for future volumes that they're putting out. So he put out a call for submissions, all under the theme of Chicken Soup for the Soul, like, you know, soothing people, right? And under this theme, they have people who write a chapter, and all of those chapters are compiled into one book, right? They're compiled into one book. And so the authors are the folks who write the introduction and the conclusion and such, and who, you know, it's like curating a book. You're pushing all of the things together. So this can be for those of you who want to put out a book, but you don't want to write it all. This can be a great kind of topic or format for you, right? So you have an anthology where you are the leader, you're bringing this subject forward, but you're having multiple people write the actual content of the book, okay? I kind of talked to Zenuria about that yesterday as a possibility with caregivers, right? She can write a memoir of her experience, that's perfectly fine, but she can also take that topic of working with caregivers and the elderly and possibly have other people write about their experiences with that and then compile it all together. Either way, she is going to be seen as the expert within that realm. Okay, so it depends on, you know, the type of book that you're going to write depends on how you like to write, how you like to read, and also how you think your audience is going to relate to it. And so again, tomorrow we're going to talk about audience. All right, so the last one I want to talk about right now is what I call like the tip book, the tip book. And I think I left it downstairs. Let me see, did I leave it downstairs? I think I did. I think I did leave it downstairs. Okay, so the tip book is kind of what I mentioned earlier when I said like 31 mistakes that, what example did I use? 31 mistakes that, I forgot, but it was 31 mistakes, right? That was what I was talking about earlier. So your tip book can be a compilation of like short ideas. So my ex-husband and I wrote a book like this, right? It was called Like Glue, and it was a compilation of advice that people had given us. It's so ironic now. It was a compilation of advice that people had given us, marriage advice, right? Obviously, we didn't follow all the advice because I said it was my ex-husband. So this book, though, like on every page, right? Every page was a piece of advice. And then that was it. You go to the next page, there was another piece of advice. You go to the next page, there was another piece of advice, right? We wrote the introduction and we wrote the conclusion to the book. And then each page was like a piece of advice, right? So it was a very simple type of book, but it's also very powerful. Oh, thank you. Yes, Like Glue, the little book of marriage advice we should have stuck to from the beginning. I pulled that thing down off of Amazon, I think. I might rebrand it and put it back out again. We'll see. But the point is, right, is that you can, whatever subject it is that you're wanting to write about, there are multiple ways that you can organize that information. So you want to pick what's going to be easy for you, right? You want to pick what's going to be easy for you. Again, this is not a subject, not a project that has to be very, very difficult, right? You have options and you have the ability to design this the way that you want to do it. So for us, with that like Glue book, I knew I didn't want to do something that was super heavy, like my first book, you know, Jihad of the Soul on singlehood. I knew I wanted this book to be really light. People can just pick it up, they read a piece of advice, talk to their boo about that for that day, and then put it down, you know, go to the next day, pick it up, get a piece of advice and go. So these are really great for like things that you want to do on a weekly basis. So let's say you have 52 prompts for a family dinner or something. So every week your big mission, your big goal is to help people be able to bring their families closer together utilizing the dinner table. Okay, so you have a book of 52 like prompts for unique dinner conversations. And so every week it's just the prompt and then maybe some, background information that you want to share on that. So can you see how I'm organizing it? I can do 52. I can say a month of graphic design ideas. I can do a month of different graphic design tips or ideas for graphic designers. So there are different ways that you can structure your content and make it easy for you to put it out, right? If that's the way that you want to go about it, but also relevant to your audience and still allow you to get your book done and get it out there into the world. So let's make sure that this makes sense. So I'm going to pause here and let's get some folks, some people who haven't spoken yet. So Muzammil, I see you. You probably, Muzammil, let's see, Done Network 313, Galaxy S10e, Bestseller. Okay, so Eddie. So what's coming up for you all around topic and around like the type of book that you may want to put out? Do like this and I'll unmute you. Okay, so I see Zuberi and then I see, okay, I'll go to Zuberi first. Okay, go ahead. Okay, Zuberi, and I see Eddie. Yeah, I think I saw Mazama.
And so what my thought is, I've always wanted to write a book. And as a mental health counselor, I work with women. And so my idea is that I would work with, have women come together and talk about something in their lives. And so let's say the topic is, what is real for you? What has happened that's real for you? And then I would have the woman write it. And then that's how I would publish that book. Something similar to what you were saying about chicken, what you call it?
Chicken soup for the soul.
Right. Something like that. And then the second part would be a journal where we would have the same topics and they can write those things for themselves.
Mm-hmm. So these are workshops that you're going to be putting together.
Yes, because I do workshops now. I do conferences, I do workshops. And so what my thought is, and I haven't processed it 100%, is that I would come up with a topic and we would discuss it, but the different women who would be part of that, like you said, call for submission. And so some of these women would write on whatever that topic is, and then we would publish all of those together in a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you see how Zuberi, like you have like a full brand, around, you have the workshop and then you have this book, that you're be putting out. And so you're building up as far as having different components to your bigger brand. So, and they all pull together, right? Like you'll have some people that are super excited about writing and want to contribute because they also want to be a published author, but maybe don't want to do a full book, right? So they get to become a published author through you. And then you have other people that are going to just be reading that book, get excited, and then it feeds your workshops. So the book will feed your workshops, the workshop will feed the next books that go on, and it's all a nice little, loop-de-loop-de-loop, right? Yes, awesome. Okay, so Eddie, and then I'm coming to Muzammil, and I think Basila. So Eddie, go ahead.
Aloha, how are you guys doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clear.
All right, so yeah, what I'm going to be writing about is my journey from birth to now, about the spiritual experience. Pretty much what it boils down to is all these different experiences that I've had and how it's actually led me from religion to understanding more about spirit and more about what we are outside of the body, inside of the body, and how it relates and correlates to everything in our lives. And so I'm a speaker on Facebook. I do live feeds. I'm with what they call the Star Knowledge Conference people, ancient aliens and all that stuff. Right now I'm in the middle of creating my prayer ties. I got 400 prayer ties right here. And I will be sundancing in June, which is the piercing to the tree. So this was my first year, and now this is my second year coming out. I know I saw your eyes. You're like, whoa, yeah. 4 days, no food, no water. And and this is a very lucid experience. So this from where I was when I was young to 20 years ago, and where this wanting to understand more about spirit and where it's led me, and just following that, and just following the breadcrumbs, and how it taught me so much about so much, and how it actually led me from a vision that I had 20 years ago of a man saying, this. I was telling my friends, there's this chief that I had this vision of this chief, and he's like, Eddie, come on, oh yeah, come on, let's go. And that vision actually happened 2 years ago, and I was like, oh wow. So my book is going to be about the journey, about the learnings, the understandings, going anything from everywhere from the earthly to the galactic to the spiritual to the dimensional. And I just want to share my story and my experience.
And why? What is the purpose? Why do you want to put this book out?
Well, because there's a lot of people out there that feel that they come to me and they ask me, they're like, do you know where I'm from? Do you know what my purpose on the planet is? And this is people all over the world. So, and I'm going, well, let's talk. So we talk, and then we start to understand why they're here, why they're coming here. Because a lot of us have come here for different reasons, in different human suits, in different colors, and different experiences. And I want to be able to correlate how it all connects, and what we came here to do. And writing books is one of them. Creating community is another. Creating the understanding of how food is actually information, and how our body processes it intelligently. And these things, they all have an interconnectedness, and I'd like to connect the dots. So my books, it would actually be a series of books.
Yeah.
It's very complex. So I want to make it digestible, and it is very relatable to what is happening to all of us, what's happening to the breakdown of society, what's happening to the rise of the feminine, and not just in women, but in us men too. So
Eddie, I think for you, like what I'm going to suggest for you, like you have a big broad topic, right?
I do, yeah.
And you have like this series that you're going to, you're going to be doing a series. So part of your homework for today is going to be to like narrow down like what you want the first book of this series to be. And like really what's the takeaway message. We're going to talk about takeaway message and such as throughout the week, but like what is the point of that book? And when I say it, like, so those of you who don't know me, sometimes I can speak very bluntly and very like, don't take offense to it, but I mean, like, what's the point? Like, what is the point of this? And the more you can kind of think about what's the point, and what's the point, not from your perspective, but from your audience's perspective, is going to help you all be able to make sure that it is relevant, right? Relevant to society. And I'll tell you, Eddie, if you don't know Jessica, like you and Jessica should be accountability partners or something.
I know Jessica.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I was about to say you guys should be accountability partners. Okay, cool, good. All right, Muzamo Shannon. I know I didn't talk to you, Shannon, either. So Muzamo, let's hear a little bit about like what you're thinking as far as your topic and the type of book that you may want to put out.
Yeah, hi everybody. I had 2 books in mind that I've been just mulling over. One is a book which is going to be called or something similar to 50 on 50. 50 voices of people across America speaking on hitting 50 years of age, half a century. And it was just, it's just a lot of personal reflections, advice. I'm going to try and capture voices of American Muslims from different backgrounds. It's a population that I think people need to hear more from and want to hear more about. So that was one of the books that I've been just mulling over and trying to get together. And the second book was a kid's book on reading the Quran, just a fun book on getting just a kid who doesn't want to read the Quran. Again, it's something that I've kind of written out and just been kind of mulling over to make more concrete and more fun and find an illustrator for and so forth.
Mm-hmm. And what are some of your goals, like in general, what are some of your goals?
Well, for the Quran book, I have a lot of nieces, nephews, a lot of young people that I work with. I just want them to have something fun that they can read be inspired by reading the Quran. And for the other 50 on 50 book, I want to be able to capture some of the thoughts and feelings and experiences of people of my generation, and find a place to be able to share it.
Mm-hmm. And when you think about like your vision, like when you see yourself like having this book as a tool, as a part of your, what you have with you, how do you see yourself utilizing the book? And what I mean by this is like, do you see yourself speaking? Do you see yourself, some of us create projects, whereas a project that will just be a project, right? And sometimes you have a project where you're going to be the one that's going to be promoting, pushing all of that stuff out. How do you see it fitting into your lifestyle?
I don't see myself promoting the book or speaking much about it. I think for the book on the 50 on 50, probably a lot of the people that are in it may be speaking about it, but I don't see actively marketing it. The kids book, similarly, I would, I have another day job, so that's not my, I don't have an active plan to market or push it. I want to see it out there, share it with people I know. If it takes off, it takes off. If it doesn't, so be it.
Okay. All right, great. So I think later in the week, we're going to talk about it's tomorrow, actually, we're going to talk about ensuring you have an audience, and then promotion with the audience and what that can kind of look like based off of our goals. And the reason why I'm asking you this, Ms. Emil, and all of us, right, is that when you're putting out something, you want to have your expectations in relationship to the goals that you want for your book. And each one of us is going to have different goals, and so our expectations are going to be different as well. And the more real you can get about really what you want to see from it, then okay, if I really want this to blow up, if I really want this to be out there, then I know I'm going to have to market, or at least have other folks market. Some promotion has to go in there, right? If I want to see this take off, then those 50 people that I have within that 50 for 50, this is one of the power of anthologies too, because you have 50 people that are helping you promote something versus just yourself that they're helping promote, right? And so for those of you who are thinking about that type of subject, that you're going to have to engage those people, right? And kind of give them some guidance as well as how you want that book to be promoted, so it can start to help you think about the pieces that are going to come into this. Because remember, we're always talking about reverse engineering. We're beginning with the end in mind, right? We're reverse engineering from what we kind of see we want to have happen, with the understanding that there will be some organic growth and organic things that occur that we didn't really know about. They're just, they come. But we want to reverse engineer to be able to at least hit our markers. All right, so great. Okay, Shannon.
Hello.
We're gonna close up in about 9 minutes. So if you guys can give me 9 extra minutes today, I would appreciate it. So, okay, Shannon.
So my book is memoir style, and the goal of it, for me, it's a business tool. One, it's about sharing my story and getting my thoughts out there, and definitely using it as a business tool. Because I really liked the exercise yesterday when what do we want to have happen in life? So for me, it's really about a third of my time speaking and internationally, and being hired by corporations and organizations to speak to young women. And then a third of my time actually facilitating group experiences and group learning and coaching for young women, young professional women. And yeah, so book is really about how even when things look amazing on the outside, they can still suck inside, and how to dive into yourself too. And for me, there's a huge connection with getting outside and being in nature and being outdoors and connecting to the earth to find yourself and to find the purposes in life and your passions, and to actually action forward on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And it kind of makes me think about again, being in with your truth, right? The more you stay within truth. And a lot of people live these surface lives where everything looks great, but then they're suffering. We hear about celebrities and such who commit suicide. Everything looked great, but they were suffering on the inside. And so that being in the space of truth is definitely important for the work that you do. And it's also in relation to like our books. Like you have to be in the space of truth. This is why I keep asking you guys, like, what do you really want? What is your goal? Who do you really want to be working with? What do you see? Because the more you can be in a space of truth about what it is that you want, then we can, one, help your subconscious to create that, and then two, reverse engineer to make sure that that's actually going to be what happens and what comes about. So great. All right. So great second day, you all. Great second day. Let me give you all a little bit of like what's going to happen tomorrow and then throughout the week. So I saw many of you all know where the homework is now. If you have any problems, you can still submit an email to support@bookpowerpublishing.com, and we'll make sure that you get what you need. And do the homework, like do the homework. So do the homework because it's going to help you, right? So today your homework is to take that list that you brainstormed and begin to scratch out the things that you really don't feel comfortable or don't want to do right at this moment until we can get to like one. And I gave you some things to think about as far as like how to scratch additional things out. Anything you're not passionate about, anything that you like kind of have a little bit of apprehension about at this moment. If it doesn't excite you really, then, you know, scratch that out. And it doesn't mean you won't ever do that project, but it won't be the project that you're going to put your energy into right now. Because doing a book project is going to take your energy, it's going to take your resources, it's going to take some focus, right? And so you want to do something that's going to be exciting for you. Okay, so the homework assignment, Ali is going to have that up in the group, I believe, and so, or he'll email it out or such. So you can have that homework assignment and enter it in. And the way that we did it is so that you also get a copy of the response so that you can keep that for your own historical record. Like this is a part of your book plan that you're creating right now. Everything I'm sharing with you actually over this next week, this is a portion of what we do with our clients. So this is like from our Power Author Academy, from our Power Author system, this is exactly what we do, this work. So you're creating your book plan right now, okay? Everything that we ask you, like it's all relating to creating your book plan. Now, the group, I saw some of you all have like invited other people to the group. So we're not going to bring the people into the group unless they register for the the challenge. So send them to the bookpowerpublishing.com/challenge link. Send them there so that they can formally register. That way we can send them all of the materials that you all receive. And then that way we know that they're real and they want to be a part of this. Because you can just add people to the group, but they don't even know what they're being added to. And they just come in and they're like, well, what are we doing? Like they come in and kind of mess up our whole little field that we've already created. So we are welcome to have them. They can catch up day one, day two, but send them to the link, bookpowerpublishing.com/challenge, so that we know that they're in officially. So as I mentioned again, we're going to we have daily sessions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 daily sessions at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here as we are here. The next day will be a catch-up day, like a catch-up day. And then the last day, the day 7, we're going to have our celebration party, book planning, and I'm going to be giving away some of the prizes, some packaging like with us, some work that we're going to help you kind of do your books and some other stuff that's going to be cool. So that's going to be happening at the celebration party and such. And for those of you who are kind of still deciding whether you want to write your book or whether you don't, I'll also tell you like some other ways that you can get some additional guidance for that as well. So throughout this week, we're giving you tips, we're giving you information, but we're also helping you to see like what it really takes in order to get a book done, if you do it on your own, or if you want to outsource those things to others to do for you, okay? So our goal is to equip you with the knowledge and the information that you need to be able to move forward with your goals. That's our ultimate goal. All right, so let me see, did I miss anything here? Nori, yeah, don't worry, Miss Kuwait. So don't worry about that. We have another guy in Australia too, so he kind of watches the replays and does it that way. So if you ever miss this live, come live, because this is where I'm going to be able to help you ask your questions and things like that. But if you absolutely cannot, then you can watch the replay later. And the assignment will be under group unit 2. So it'll be under unit 2. Okay. Okay. I think we're good. All right, you all. So great day 2. Do your homework, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another good day. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just like watching the tiles disappear. It's like ding, ding, ding. Hey, Tasha, son. You gonna write a book too? He's a little budding author. Awesome. All right, see you guys. Wait, Nori, do you have any questions? Did you have any questions?
I was trying to catch up, and I was going to send you a text message.
Okay, yeah. Put it on the group. Yeah, put it in the group. That's the best way to where I catch it. So put it in the group and we'll answer any questions you have.
Yeah, okay. This was kind of like something else, kind of like, because I sent you messages before, but I don't think you knew it was me.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah.
I might not have. So, okay, yeah. If it's anything private or whatever, yeah, you can send it that way.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Jaretta, I see you. I didn't see your name earlier, so we'll get you tomorrow to kind of share, and then Clara will get you tomorrow as well. All right, cool. And Jessica, I need you to speak tomorrow too, so we can kind of get more about your backstory. All right, bye everybody.